Now at 10, Joplin police officers shop for Christmas gifts with area children. Plus, a Pittsburgh dance company kicks off the Christmas season with a 'Twas the Night Before Christmas dance recital. And a youth football program hits the field for some off-season workouts.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
The Kansas Supreme Court yesterday said a lawsuit challenging voting laws enacted in 2021 must be heard. This is KOAM News at 10. I'm Anthony Saviello. It centers around a law that makes it illegal to, quote, give the appearance of being an election official, something the lawsuit calls overboard and unconstitutionally vague. Reporter Cale Chapman has more.
We are living to fight another day.
Martha Pint, the president of the League of Women Voters Kansas, says this ruling has been years in the making, but there's more that needs to be done.
It's a battle we won. It's not the war. You know, we felt confident all along that if we could just get our concerns aired before one of the courts, we feel very confident that we will come out ahead on this.
The law in question reads, false representation of an election official is knowingly engaging in any of the following conduct while not holding a position as an election official. Representing oneself as an election official, engaging in conduct that gives the appearance of being an election official, or engaging in conduct that would cause another person to believe a person engaging in such conduct is an election official. The League and 3 other nonprofit voting advocacy groups challenged the second and third points in court, saying even if they clearly identify themselves, because people could mistake them for election officials while holding voter registration drives, they risk being charged with a felony.
I was registering voters in Southeast Kansas a handful of years ago, and I've had people ask me, are you at the county clerk's office? Are you at the Secretary of State's office? It's harmless. I correct them and explain the situation. But under this law, that simple mistake of the listener, that then makes me a criminal.
An appeals court dismissed the case, saying the groups lacked standing. Today's decision by the state Supreme Court reinstates their suit and sends the case back to the appeals court for further proceedings.
The governors of Missouri, Nebraska, and Iowa met this week to discuss managing the Missouri River. The governors met at the Kiewit Luminarium in Omaha with the Army Corps of Engineers. The 3 governors stressed the importance of working collaboratively together, including with the Corps, to move forward after a flood in 2019. The Corps retained control of more than 400 permits related to the river, with a goal of making sure they keep it from clogging to prevent floods. Meteorologist Katie Frazier joins us for a first look at weather.
Good evening, everyone. Here's what we are expecting over the next several days. First, we are drying out tonight. We will have a chance of fog early tomorrow morning. Cool days are also expected. We'll also talk about your next chance of rain here in just a few minutes. We are dry out at Indigo Sky. We had some rain move through the area just a few hours ago. As you can see, it's not even visible now on our radar as it is pushing off into the rest of Missouri. So you folks who are hoping for the rain to go away, your wish has been granted. Maybe you are a runner or maybe you're a walker, whatever it may be tomorrow. If you are going out very early in the morning, temperatures will be on the cool side and we will have some fog early on tomorrow morning. And I don't know if you know this, but fog is actually one of my favorite types of weather. So it gives you a bit of cool scenery out and about. It will be cool though, 29 around your temperature tomorrow morning. We'll have a nice day tomorrow. I'll have more details on that and your Christmas forecast in just a few minutes.
Thanks, Katie. Some volunteers today took time to honor our nation's heroes. They placed wreaths on the graves of veterans buried at the Fort Scott National Cemetery. Officials say it's a great way to show appreciation for those who have served our country.
To me, it means on how our community can come together to show how much we appreciate all the soldiers and veterans and the spouses of those veterans who have worked and fought for us throughout their lifetime.
My grandfather served in World War II. He fought at the Battle of the Bulge, and ever since then we have done lots of things for the veterans in the veteran community.
For more information about wreaths across America, head over to our website, KOAMnewsnow.com. Volunteers in Webb City today also laid wreaths on the graves of veterans. Nearly 1,200 wreaths were placed on graves at Mount Hope Cemetery. The Webb City ROTC hosted a special program for the ceremony. Before the ceremony, each grave was prepared with a handmade shepherd's hook. Joplin and Seneca Police Departments today took some area children on a shopping spree. The purpose of the shopping day is to help kids get what they want or need for Christmas. Each child was given $100 to spend at Walmart. Officials say that more than 200 kids showed up to the event. Dancers at the BTC Athletics and Dance Studio today kicked off the Christmas holiday with its 'Twas the Night Before Christmas dance recital. Look at them go. Dancers were able to show off their skills through different styles of dance, including musical theater, hip-hop, acro, and ballet. Following the performances, attendees were treated to a special appearance from Santa and Mrs. Claus.
So the show follows the traditional story of 'Twas the Night Before Christmas. We intersperse dances in that correlate with the lines of the story.
Brings me back to my dancing days. The performances began at 4 this afternoon at the Memorial Auditorium. The football season may be over for the Forest States, but the training never stops. Forest State football today hit the field for some off-season workouts in preparation for the upcoming season. Workouts began at noon and wrapped up around 2 this afternoon at Landreth Park in Joplin. Coming up, we'll get an inside look at the fascinating history of a Southwest Missouri town that's based on another town. Just a few miles northeast of Carthage and right off Route 66, you'll find a hidden gem called Red Oak 2. Some call it an art project, others consider it historical preservation. But for the 8 residents who currently live there, it's home. KOAM's Tanya Bach takes us there.
Any time of day, especially on the weekend, I'll just go outside and there might be 20 people just in my yard taking pictures, hanging out, enjoying Route 66, just taking the tour.
Jeremy Morris was traveling Route 66 himself 12 years ago when he met the creator of Red Oak 2, artist Lowell Davis.
And I talked to him on the porch, found out that people actually live here, which surprised me. And I thought, if anything ever comes available, I may buy a house here.
Today, Morris lives at Red Oak 2 in a late 19th century home originally built in Carthage. It's dubbed the Parsonage, simply because it's next to Davis's working church, where there are music jams on Saturday nights and a service every Sunday. Red Oak 2 is actually a sequel community, about 20 minutes west of the original Red Oak. This cemetery, a church, and a few homes are all that really remains of Red Oak, Missouri, the childhood home of Lowell Davis. It used to be a thriving community along Route 66, but after World War II, its residents moved away, basically becoming a ghost town. A fate Mr. Davis was not willing to accept.
So Lowell decided to, at some point, when he made money off his farm figurines, basically, let's start moving these buildings to my property. I have a whole cornfield that I don't use because I'm not a real farmer, and let's make a farm, let's make a town, and I'll recreate from memory what my town was like, but better.
Memories like growing up in the back of his father's general store and attending school in a one-room schoolhouse and outhouses.
Back here is one of our 12 outhouses. This is where Lowell used to keep all his civic awards.
The current feed and seed store was the first building Davis moved from Red Oak to Red Oak 2 in 1987.
They would cut some of these buildings in half and move them in the middle of the night on the streets. And then some buildings, like the log cabins, were moved log by log, sometimes numbered.
Davis also found and moved a number of historical buildings, including this 1850s Civil War home from White Oak, Missouri, and the Clinging Smith cabin that Davis found in a field in La Russell, Missouri.
This is an 1850s cabin. The original wall, south wall, ended right here, made of hand-hewn logs.
Davis passed away 3 years ago, but before he did, he made Morris and the other residents promise him one thing.
He told me before he passed, he said, keep it art. Doesn't have to be my art, but I want it to be art.
A request to take the baton and continue building Red Oak 2 in the spirit and legacy of Lowell Davis. Reporting along Route 66, Tanya Bach, KOAM News.
The residents are making big plans for the Red Oak train station this spring. They are adding a locomotive with a wood tender, flat car, and caboose, and smaller train sets for families to enjoy inside the station. A little later, we meet an Oklahoma middle school principal who has a story you'll have to see to believe.
Good evening, folks. I'm meteorologist Katie Frazier. Hope you had a wonderful day. Now we are narrowing in on the big day, 9 days away until Santa Claus makes his way across the 4 states and the whole world. I'll have a look at what we possibly could see for weather as far as Christmas and Christmas Day and Christmas Eve go in just a few minutes here, but our winds are calm right now, and that is going to help some fog develop in just a couple hours. I'll have more on that in a moment as well. Our rain has moved on out. We are clear across most of our area. That's another ingredient that we need to get fog to develop. So here are some important ingredients that we'll need. Clear nights, we have that. Calm winds, we have that. Moist air, we have that. And saturated soils, we also have that, as the rain definitely fell and now the soil has soaked it all up. So let's talk about what we could see as far as our visibilities, if they're going to be getting lower. The answer is yes. By later on tonight, not too bad. It looks like maybe some patchy fog for folks in Carl Junction, but then as we move through the night, especially into tomorrow morning, that's when we'll more likely see some fog development. By 5 o'clock, you could see some areas getting down to even less than a mile in Girard, with 7 miles of visibility in Oswego. So we are looking at fog to develop by early tomorrow morning. It will last through the 7 o'clock hour, maybe even through the 8 o'clock hour for tomorrow morning. After that, it will definitely break apart, and then you will have clear conditions for the majority of your Sunday. Let's get into our latest future track model, and we are not looking at any rain for the coming days either. Just cool temperatures. That's what's expected in that fog overnight tonight. This is a look at tomorrow morning, 6 o'clock. You could see some partly cloudy skies with temperatures in the low 30s. It will be a cool morning if you have anything going on early on tomorrow. By lunchtime, temperatures will warm up into the low 50s, which is a couple degrees above average this time of year. By the afternoon, still in the 50s. Winds overall on the light side. Gusty winds won't return until Monday of this upcoming week, and we're looking good as far as rain goes, not until later on this week. Here's your temperature trend for tomorrow. We will warm up to the mid-50s, so plenty of sunshine is expected. It will feel quite nice, so you'll want to get outside and enjoy it. But as promised, here's your Christmas Eve and Christmas Day forecast. Highs in the 50s, upper 50s for Christmas Eve, and low 60s for Christmas Day. The reason why is because we are likely to have rain on both of our days. So no, we're not going to have a white Christmas, and Santa, he could get a little bit damp out there, but we know he's reliable and he'll still make it around the world. Your next several days looks like this, with cool temperatures expected. That fog overnight tonight. Our rain chances don't return until Thursday of this upcoming week, and they're not going anywhere. Thursday all the way through Tuesday of the following week, we'll expect that rain. And once again, as you can see, Sunday and Monday, we are looking at rain across the 4 states.
To be the first to see breaking news, weather, and sports, download the KOAM News app. It's available free of charge in the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store. Just search for the KOAM News app. Most of us have a story few people would believe. The principal of an Oklahoma City middle school had a student report something he couldn't explain. Jordan Frimstad shows us how this mystery casts a wide net of possibilities.
In the depths of the walls at Cooper Middle School,
education's the game, yeah.
there is a principal whose passion for teaching flows deep within his heart.
It's a fun group. It's a fun group.
Jason Burkhart is a leader who can count on his students.
They like to report things because they're 7th graders.
To report suspicious activity.
That's kind of what happened yesterday.
A student brought Jason something.
Yeah.
That lured him in.
Yeah. I said, well, where'd you get that?
On Thursday, security cameras caught something.
My principal mind goes to, okay, who just vandalized a recess area?
Jason didn't expect his eyes.
Absolutely
to catch this.
Absolutely not.
Did you see it?
Right there. She was one step away from getting nailed. I started off as a drama teacher, so I'm not making a story up.
Step outside.
This is the area where they came down.
And Jason
They're everywhere.
could only wonder
One right here. I can't explain it.
why so many fish sat on the ground.
And they were on the roof. Yep.
And did you think your students were hoping you'd take the bait on a prank?
I thought that.
I don't know about you guys, but this story still feels fishy to me.
Weather in Oklahoma is crazy.
So we talked to Oklahoma's weather expert,
That's a good one.
David Payne.
That's a good one for sure. Water spouts that travel over a stream or a pond or the ocean, they will pick up frogs and snakes.
Because this happened on Thursday afternoon.
It was like blue sky yesterday.
David says the likely suspects are birds.
For some reason, they just decided to throw up.
The jury's still out
Pretty wild.
on Mother Nature's decision
Quite the fish story.
to drop a school of fish at Cooper Middle School.
Coming up in sports, Brock Baldridge is in the building with the latest highlights. PSU women's basketball sits at 8-1 as they look to take on UCM. That and more coming up.
The Pittsburgh State women's basketball team comes into the day with an 8-1 record. The Gorillas are coming off of 2 straight wins, and now Pittsburgh State faces the top-ranked team in the MIAA. Pitt State on the road facing the Central Missouri Jennies this afternoon. Early in this game, Grace Pyle picks up right where she left off from last week's game. Nothing but net there. 3-point shot is good. Pitt State leads 3-0. Central Missouri showing that they can shoot the 3 ball as well. Olivia Nelson gets that one to go from the corner. Then Nelson again, back-to-back threes. Central Missouri is up 8-5. In the end of the first quarter, it's UCM that leads by 7, but in the second quarter, Macy Mays from Pitt State is open in the corner. She knocks it down, and that cuts it to a 2-point game. Later in the half, Central Missouri's Ashley Toll gets the bucket underneath. And the Jennies lead 44-33 at halftime, but Pittsburgh State comes all the way back to win this game in overtime, 101-93. This was also the 100th career win for Pitt State head coach Amanda David. Over to Missouri Southern women's basketball now. The Lions are coming off of a win over UCM themselves. Lions take care of business against Lincoln, winning this game 76-57. Maggie Saki led the way with 15 points, and Caitlin Honeycutt just does her thing. 14 points for her tonight. Southern back at it on the road next Tuesday against Drury. Over to the Missouri Southern men now. The Lions are also facing the Blinken Blue Tigers. Missouri Southern led by 5 points midway through the second half, but they just couldn't finish. Lincoln goes on a big run to win this game 76-65 as the Lions fall to 4-8 on the season. However, Avery Tagger and Darius Dawson each scored in double figures. Well, we move from college basketball to high school hoops now, and that is the case for the Kenneth Shooter Invitational Tournament. That wraps up in Welch, Oklahoma. In the first place game, we get a couple of rivals going head-to-head. Wyandotte versus Quapaw. First place trophy is on the line for each team. We start things off in the first quarter. Lady Wildcats down by 5, but their first bucket comes from Annie Chuckluck. Look at that ball bouncing around the rim, and it finally goes in. Wyandotte looking to answer that. Lady Bears are up by 1, but Haley Jones gets this one from beyond the arc, and she nails it. Wyandotte leads by 4. A few possessions later, it's going to be Haley Jones again who finishes this one with a layup. Wyandotte feeling pretty good about themselves, going into halftime with a 10-point lead, but Quapaw, they're still in this. Nice pass there to Naomi Daughtery, who puts it in, cuts the Wyandotte lead down to 8. Later in the half, Lakin McCoy is going to find the open lane and get the layup. Lady Bears are trying to protect their lead, and under 2 minutes left to go in the game. It's a 5-point game. Avery Atokni gets a huge 3 there to make it a 2-point game. Quapaw looking to tie the game up with 30 seconds left. And that shot there is no good. Wyandotte is fouled. They make their free throws, and the Lady Bears hold on as Wyandotte defeats Quapaw 36-34, and they are this year's first place winners in the Suitor Invitational. So after the girls' game, the boys' teams take over the court. Baxter Springs and Fairland go head-to-head. Fairland gets the job done as the Owls win this game 65-45. Fairland wins first place in the Suitor Invitational. Baxter Springs finishes in second place. Well, the Kansas Jayhawks are only 3 more non-conference games away remaining until the Big 12 conference play begins. Kansas heads to the Hoosier State for their first true road game of the season. Kansas versus Indiana in the second half. Hoosiers are up by 8. Trey Galloway drains that one for 3 there. Indiana leads by 11, but if you're Kansas, you know what's coming. big bucket here as we see DeJuan Harris misses it, but Hunter Dickinson gets it to go, all 7 feet and 2 inches of him. Jayhawks make it a 3-point game. Later in the half, game tied 64 apiece now, and Kevin McCullough gives Kansas the lead with that shot. Then later, DeJuan Harris goes to work and gets this one to go off the glass. You can rock chalk it up. Kansas beats Indiana on the road 75-71. Let's look for sports. We're back right after this.
If you're a fan of the Home Alone movies, we have the ultimate experience for you. The Plaza Hotel in New York City is offering a Home Alone 2 package. Guests can do almost everything Kevin McAllister does in the movie, Home Alone 2: Lost in New York. It includes a 4-hour limousine ride to see attractions like the Empire State Building, Rockefeller Center, Radio City Music Hall, and Central Park. And of course, you get a large cheese pizza with the ride, just like Kevin had. That's our time for now. Thanks for making us part of your night.